You don't know me, but I know you. I want to play a game. There is only one key to open the device. It is in the stomach of your dead cellmate. Better hurry up. Live or die. Make your choice. Welcome to the Sunday Movie Marathon. I'm Max.
I'm Chris.
I'm Darcy.
And this is episode 51.5. We're coming out with a bonus episode. It's a bonus one. So, because we don't have loads to talk about, but we do have two movies to talk about that we saw very recently, and we figured, why bulk with episode 52 down with discussions that veer off the Twilight marathon, because that's going to be quite chunky.
Yeah.
We figured we'd do a nice little bonus episode. Might be quite short.
Yeah, well, we've already got 5 films the next episode. It kind of makes sense to do a little side thing.
Could you imagine how hammy that next episode would be?
Yeah,
it would be
it's going to be
disgusting.
long enough as it is, so...
Yeah, we don't need that. So here we are.
Yes. So we watched 2 movies of varying quality. We watched Venom, Let There Be Venom.
Venom, Let There Be Venom. That was the best title of the film.
And we watched the Green Knigget. Eventually we watched it, finally. Right. Through great struggle, but we did it. We've been going on about that for a while. But first of all, we'll talk about Venom Let There Be Carnage from 2021. Came out this week.
Yeah, I think we saw it on opening day, I think.
Yeah, we did.
We did. Yeah,
that's why I was so
eager.
busy. It would explain a lot.
Directed by Andy Serkis.
Yep.
What
Gollum
film
himself.
he made. Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
There it is. So he made it. And this is the continuation of the much loved classic from 20 whatever called Venom.
2018.
2018.
Yeah. So Tom Hardy's back. Venom is back. And Michelle Williams is back. And Carnage is here now. And Woody Harrelson is a serial killer. And Tom Hardy, he's friends with him or something. He keeps interviewing him. And then Woody Harrelson's like, there's going to be carnage, Eddie, so you just wait. So we waited 2 years for there to be carnage. And this is that. What do we think?
This is exactly that.
Yeah, like what? I don't know. I just kind of like haphazardly lined out the plot there because like there's not. I don't know. There's not like
the
loads plot-wise.
It's all over the place, really.
It's whatever, you know. It's like everybody. It's Venom and Carnage fight.
Yes, that's the main point, isn't it? I'm actually really excited to see what Chris thinks because just to lay it out for everybody, when we watched this in the cinema, every time I looked over at Chris, he was either miserable or just shaking his head. So I'm excited to hear what he says.
Chris, go on.
Yeah,
Okay.
go on.
So I hated the first Venom movie. I just found it so dull and cringy. Like I thought all the humour was just really, really bad. Like I think what made it worse was that the entire cinema were loving it and laughing along to every joke. And I was just sat there like, this sucks. I thought all the action was terrible. I thought the effects work was really, really bad. Just thought the entire film was cringy and I didn't enjoy it at all. And this second film is basically just the exact same thing again. I guess I'd say I slightly preferred this movie. Maybe because this film feels like a little bit more self-aware about what it is. Like you can definitely tell that the people in it are having fun making it. You can tell everyone's just kind of going crazy. And yeah, that I guess at times felt a little bit infectious. But I still didn't enjoy the movie at all.
Yeah.
It still had like pretty much all the issues I had with the first movie.
I mean, the only thing I think I enjoyed about it is because I don't remember seeing the first Venom, like in cinema. I know I did, but I don't remember seeing it. But there was something about going to the cinema and seeing this one. I know everyone was like having a good time. But I think what I liked the most was the guy who was sitting next to Chris, who was having the time of his life. Every 2 seconds, it was like, oh my God, he was in that thing. And oh, it's that person. And he was just like laughing, having a great time. And I just turned around to Chris and I was like, this is what I wanted.
Before the film, there was the trailer for the new Ghostbusters movie. And I think he said, it's Ghostbusters like 5 times throughout that trailer.
Oh, my favourite part was when I looked at Max and I was like, oh, those little marshmallow man looking fuckers. And then everyone just goes, hee hee hee, look at them, they're so cute. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. Is that what I look like whenever we watch a film and there's a dog in it? I bet that's exactly what I look like.
Yeah.
Fucking soulless.
I don't think you got it though, Chris. I don't think you understand.
No, you didn't understand the artistry that was.
Like, this is. It's a gay rom-com.
It is.
It is literally the gayest thing I've ever seen. And that says a lot because I've seen a lot of gay films. In fact, Max went to go see a gay film literally straight afterwards and it probably was nowhere near
as good as Venom Let There Be Carnage. Yes, you're right.
Of course.
Yeah, I got out of Venom. I was like, I'm going to go see Portrait of a Lady on Fire, which is just like this French art film.
Yeah, you had to...
art romance movie, yeah. So.
Yeah, you had to restore your faith in a movie kind, I suppose. I mean...
But I think viewed through the lens of Venom Let There Be Carnage being a gay rom-com, it was a lot more enjoyable.
That was your reference point, yeah?
Yeah. I was... Okay. I don't know. It's not a good movie. But
no,
I took my fun where I could have it because I felt like, okay, I'm stuck here for an hour and a half. Make the most of it. Have some fun with it, you know. So viewed through different lenses, you get more out of it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of just, I wouldn't say it was like funny, but there were parts where I was like at least ironically laughing, and I was like, actually, I'm getting more fun out of this than I thought I would.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be bad.
Yeah,
I knew
that's
it
it.
was
You just
got
got you got to laugh.
So why would I
shit.
go into a movie like just being miserable and like being like, oh, it's not going to be good, is it? And then sit there and go, yeah, that wasn't good. I've confirmed my biases. Where I could just go, well, I would rather not spend money, you know, and see the movie. You know, the first Venom, I don't really like that much at all. And I watched it like a few months ago. I was like, oh, I don't remember this being as bad as it actually is. It's really bad. And I agree with Chris, it's a bit better. I would even say, like, I had a better time with it overall. But yeah, I don't know. Most of the time I couldn't really get on board with it because its attempts at comedy didn't really hit much for me. But it hit a lot of the time with the audience. And I also don't like when I'm just not really vibing with a movie and like the audience clearly is, and I'm just like, oh, I feel really like just left out, and like clearly I'm not having a good time here, but everybody else is, so it makes it worse.
That's kind of how I felt when we were watching Old and everyone else was like proper vibing to it, and we were just laughing at things that weren't meant to be funny but were funny, and I was like, do we just not get films, or do we completely understand films? I don't really know.
Well, to use a good movie as an example, when I saw Jojo Rabbit, I do like that movie, and I think it's funny, but I don't think it's as funny as the audience I saw it with thought it was. I was just like, okay.
See, I think that's the thing, though. Humor's
cackling.
like, yeah, humor's like quite subjective, though. Like, there would be parts, because I've seen that film a couple times now, and I watched it with my mum, and me and her were laughing at completely different points in the film, and I don't know whether it's just like some people find things funnier than other things and it just didn't tickle us like it could have. I don't know, maybe some of the film was just, I thought some of the humour was like just really just cringy, to be honest. I just didn't think it was funny, but then there were parts of it that were really funny but for all the wrong reasons, and I like that sometimes, because if I'm going to sit there, I want to at least laugh once. I want to at least like feel something.
There was like maybe one or two bits that I thought were just really, really bad.
I heard you laugh at one point, but I can't remember what at.
No.
And I think someone got kicked or something, and you were just like, huh, and I was just like, okay, that's the first time I've heard you make a noise. It was like the only noise I heard you make the whole time.
I don't really remember much of
the film. No, I don't remember
already.
the film, and
Yeah, no, that's a shame because we saw it like the other day, like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
But no, but I just feel like
it's quite generic.
It
I don't
feels
like
that
to
way,
use that
doesn't
word a lot, but like it's kind of like just exactly what you expect it to be, and like it's a fight between Venom and Carnage, and it happens at the end, and then like we get like an hour and 20 minutes of them trying to figure some shit out and like get the mechanics in place and people in place to have this fight at the end. And I kind of understood exactly where it was going, and it never subverted my expectations in any way. So I just like kind of sat there like, all right, we're watching Woody Harrelson go to a prison and get his girlfriend who screams a lot, and that's okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
He's got the symbiote now because he Venom slapped Woody Harrelson around, and then he bit Tom Hardy, and then he got the Venom, but then it turned red because he's evil, I suppose.
I thought it was because when he got into the chair to get injected, they had some injection fluid or something. I don't know. I thought that was why, but
Sure.
I could be wrong.
I think the premise is like, if you're infected with a symbiote, it will not. Like, if you're like a match sort of, like they can live inside of you, they're not going to let you die because they can.
Oh yeah, but he was like, I'm just going to
use you
let
to live.
Woody Harrelson die. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the biggest reason I didn't enjoy the movie was because it was kind of exactly what I was expecting. I went in kind of knowing what it was going to be. I knew I wasn't going to enjoy it. I knew it was going to be varied by the numbers, but I did try to be as open-minded as possible because, like you said, you try and get your enjoyment where you can find it in these sort of things. There's no point in just sitting there like being miserable.
You should have told
like,
that to
with
your face, mate.
Bias throughout, but like I really struggled to find anything that I enjoyed because like instantly I was like, okay, yeah, this is exactly what I was expecting it to be, and that just kind of put me off everything else.
Yeah. I didn't really like Carnage as a character. I don't think it had.
No,
much of a
he's
character.
lame.
Venom at least has
He
a
looked
personality. Say what you want about Venom as a character, but at least he's like something.
Yeah,
Carnage
he's an
is
icon.
nothing. Carnage actually has nothing going for him. He's just like the red inverse of Venom, but also he has nothing
that's
to him.
Literally it. I mean, he looks cool, but that's about it. But then he basically is just red Venom. It's like when remember we watched Lilo and Stitch or Leroy and Stitch, and we were like, that is literally just red Stitch. It's that sort of premise. It is literally just like they were too lazy to make something look more, I don't know, original, I guess. I understand that they're meant to be sort of like from the same family or whatever, but I don't know, it just didn't come across to me as like basically it could have just been the same thing.
Doesn't Carnage call Venom father?
Yeah, what the hell was
like,
that? Hello,
Daddy.
Was that meant to be a? Yeah, was that meant to be like a thing? They never bring it up again either. He's like, oh no, he's too powerful. I must go.
Created from Eddie Brock's blood.
Yeah,
that's why. He's like
That's
an
so fucking
offshoot
weird.
of Venom. He's not like a brand new symbiote. That's why, like, you see like Woody Harrelson like break out of the Carnage thing at some points.
Yeah, I thought we would get like, I don't know much about the comics, but I thought we would get like a new symbiote, like something that comes from outer space and like, Venom, you're not cool. I'm gonna kill you, and like that's kind of how it goes. But it wasn't. It was just like there's nothing to do with space in this one. It's just it's an offshoot.
I mean, that
of
might
Venom.
have been more interesting actually if they had like done something else with it rather than, oh, I bite Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson is now Carnage. Cool. That's okay.
Do we like Woody Harrelson in the role?
Not really.
No.
I think he is really, really over the top in this movie. I did think it was kind of funny at some points.
Yeah, I like that actually, but I don't really like him in this.
I didn't like the character that
No,
much. I
that's
didn't
the
find him
problem.
very interesting. And I really love Woody Harrelson, but I definitely think he's delivered far, far better performances in most things he's been in.
Yeah.
It was weird to see him with hair as well, because everything I've ever seen him in, he has like no hair.
Yeah.
It was just a weird
That was
side note.
He like it's like he licked his hand and like pushed his hair down over his forehead.
It was
quite
so
strange
weird
to see it. I also feel that way about Tom Hardy.
Tom
an
Hardy's
actor who
terrible,
I
isn't he?
absolutely love. I adore Tom Hardy. I think he's fantastic. But this role is not for him, and I don't feel like it's a role really for any great actor at all, because it's just like there's no like the writing doesn't let the acting shine, and like the just the performance as a whole, it could have been done by anyone.
Yeah, we literally had this discussion in the car just after you left, that we were like, oh, Tom Hardy's a great actor, but he was shit in this, and then we were like, but it was probably due to like script writing is just like poor as fuck.
The script writing that Tom Hardy did himself.
Shut up,
Tom Hardy wrote this movie.
Well,
or at least co-wrote it. I can't remember if he wrote all of it.
Tom
I know it's
Hardy.
because the first film he did a lot of like uncredited like rewrites and stuff, and wrote a lot of his characters' dialogue. So with this film, they just like said, "Yeah, you can do this."
Oh my god! Well, then I might have to start taking stuff back then, because I don't know what the fuck he was thinking.
Maybe they should have hired that guy from Upgrade. That's just like the dollar store Tom Hardy. Looks exactly
I
like
know the
him.
one you're on about. That could have worked.
But I
You
don't
would have
know.
known.
Like, so what? Tom Hardy's not a great writer, whatever. He's a great actor, but this is
Yeah.
it's just not for him. I feel
It's not
And I was
showing
like
anything,
the entire
is it?
time. I was like, I know you guys haven't seen this, but I was like, he did this instead of Taboo season 2, where he puts on like, if you've not seen Taboo, it's like this BBC show where Tom Hardy is the main protagonist, and it's like probably his best performance ever. And I was just like sat there kind of seething. And well, we're getting this, or it's absolutely nothing. And I don't really even see Tom Hardy, the great actor that I know, in the role. It's just like it could be anyone. And what, you forego Taboo, which is such an interesting, unique show, just to do this. And I get it, because it's like it's more money, but at the same time, I would rather just have something more artistic and just, I don't know, better and more enjoyable, I suppose.
See, like, I would hate if this was the first film that I'd ever seen him in, because I'd be like, oh, Tom Hardy's a bit shit, really, isn't he? But then you see something like Legend, and you're like, oh shit, he's actually an actor. He can do stuff. I would hate that. I would hate to be like, oh, I'll just pretend that Venom wasn't even in my, like, what do you call it, like a filmography or something? I don't know what the actor's equivalent of a portfolio is. Yeah, that one. I'll be like, oh, it didn't happen.
Say portfolio,
Venom is
sure.
Venom is nothing.
No, but that is him. He's done 2 of the movies. Very proactive with the promotion of it. You know.
Yeah.
No, he's a fool.
And soon he'll be in the MCU.
Oh yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, Max wasn't there either.
So you
We're
don't know
spoiling a lot
about
of stuff now. We're going to end up spoiling a lot. Go on, you may as well just do it. You may as well just
the
do it.
after credits scene, which obviously we didn't stay for, we left.
Left immediately.
Immediate.
So they basically like reveal that Venom is like Venom and all the symbiotes are like a hive mind, like they all share different minds, and that includes over different like Venoms in the multiverse. So they Venom is able to like show like something through the multiverse of Tom Holland as Spider-Man, and Venom's like, oh, not that guy again. So they like kind of tie it into Spider-Man 3 and the MCU, and they set up Venom and Tom Holland's Spider-Man kind of interacting at some point.
Oh, right.
See, that would have been more sensical than this whole film. They could have just done the whole film based on that.
Yeah, I guess problem with that is that I don't think Venom has earned it. I don't think this Venom has earned it. I don't think the writers of the 2 Venom movies or whatever, I don't think, they've not really
to get
earned a
into the
place in the
MCU?
MCU. I don't think the MCU is like untouchable in that way, but at least they actually try, you know. But I don't think they've tried with this movie. And but then again, that could be pretty funny. Seeing Venom
it
in
could
the
work.
MCU.
It
Seeing
could
Tom
work.
Hardy's Venom in the MCU, why not? Fuck it. If he was, that's the thing. Like, if he was directed by an actual good director, if he was written by good writers, why not? You know, he could turn it around.
Yeah, maybe.
Not holding out hope, but
No, not at all. I did quite like performance-wise Stephen Graham in the movie. I thought he was pretty good. I'm a really big fan of him in most things.
yeah,
I didn't think he was amazing, but he's decent in the movie.
Yeah, he's all right. What does he do though?
Not a lot. They set him up to be something, like his eyes start like glowing at the end of the movie.
Oh yeah. So they do. Yeah, he'll be the blue Venom. Or I don't. Why do his eyes glow again? I don't
know. They don't explain it. They're just like setting it up for something.
Oh, okay.
It was weird seeing him. It was weird seeing him in this after like just finishing the This Is England series recently, because he's like incredible in that series and film. So it's like weird seeing him like step down to being in this.
Yeah. Well,
but yeah, he's decent in it.
So step down, but there are a lot of good actors in this movie. I did like those chickens though. It was like the one joke. I don't know. Maybe
Bonnie
they
and
overplayed
Clyde,
it a bit.
was it?
Is it Sonny and Cher?
Oh, Sonny and Cher.
Eddie's
We're
got
Bonnie.
2 chickens because Venom can only eat chickens now. But like he's really grown attached to these 2 chickens, Sonny and Cher, and like they get like humor out of Eddie threatening to kill them, and Venom's like, "No, don't kill them because I love them." That's about it. And even then, it didn't really hit most of the time.
No, it was just I just thought the humor was just so weird. Like the more and more I think about it, it just felt like it almost felt like a kids movie, like the kind of comedy that you do to kids. It was weird. I couldn't explain it.
But this is basically a film for kids that, for some reason, is a 15 because it's got swearing and violence in it.
Yeah, but you still don't really get to see heads being eaten.
No, it's not very graphic, to be honest.
There's no graphic violence in it. It's literally a 15 because of threat, apparently.
Threat.
The threat of the chickens.
The threat of wasting my time.
Yeah. It's too scary for kids, apparently.
Too scary for Sonny and Cher, also.
Yeah. A big problem I had with the movie overall, I think, is just by the end, nothing has changed.
No, it was just
Eddie hasn't
literally
really
the
grown
same.
as a character. It's like, Venom and Eddie had a fight, and then they made up. So what's changed? Nothing much.
Nothing. It is literally the end of the first film.
Yeah, just Venom's in love with Eddie.
Yeah, that's it. They're in an open relationship, I guess.
Yeah.
He literally says, "I'm coming out of the Eddie closet." When he like leaves Eddie's body, he's like, he goes to this club, and then he's like giving a speech to the club. He's like, "I don't need Eddie. Eddie sucks. I'm coming out of the Eddie closet." Everyone starts cheering.
The rapper Little Sims is there for some reason. He just takes the mic from her. I still don't really know why she is in this movie, but she's just there.
It's because she was singing that song in the background. I heard it on TikTok all the time. I think it's her anyway. It literally has the words Venom in it, and I assume that is why that is happening, because it's literally that song. And I was like, oh, that must be the only reason you're there, is the funny play on words. Oh, look.
She's a great musician.
Venom.
And as soon as I saw the poster, like as he walks into this like masquerade club with her name in it, I was like, why?
That'll probably be why. If I've got it right, that'll be why. Appeal to the audience of TikTok.
But yeah, there's like really weird like homoerotic subtext all throughout the movie that's not subtle at all.
No, I actually quite enjoyed that. That was probably my favourite part of the film.
Yeah, it was like the most enjoyable part. I wish they kind of ran with it a bit more.
Could you imagine like them actually being in some sort of like relationship with each other?
Yeah, but they like argue like a married couple.
They do. It's quite funny. But other than that,
who's paying Eddie to like write these stories? And why does Woody Harrelson want to speak to Eddie? Like, why him?
Isn't it because Eddie's meant to have been like, was he not a undercover detective or something? Like back in the day? I don't even fucking know. What was he doing there? I was so confused. I thought he knew him because he was like working with the cops or something, but he's obviously not a detective or anything, is he?
He just said he wanted to be his friend.
Oh, I'm so confused. Makes no sense. Oh, and then at the end he's like, "I just wanted to be your friend," and then Venom's like, "Fuck this guy, I'm gonna eat him."
Yeah, I don't know why. Well, no, to be his friend, really.
It did make no sense to me. I just no. Anyway, it was glorious.
Yeah, Carnage is like got a girlfriend that he spends the whole movie trying to like save, and it's just kind of pointless.
No, Carnage doesn't.
Not
Woody Harrelson's guy. What's his name?
I don't know
What's his name?
His character's name because he's just like the most forgettable character.
No, they say it all the time. It was.
It was It began with a C, didn't it?
Cletus Cassidy.
Cletus, yeah.
Yeah, great name.
And what was that girl's name?
Frances Louise Barrison, apparently.
Frances. She was quite forgettable
Boring.
as well. Yeah, she didn't need to be in this film. In fact,
But
this film didn't need to be made.
to-
I keep doing this.
No, because they need Carnage and Cletus need to make a deal, and then like Cletus is like, you have to save my girlfriend, and then I'll get Venom for you. And so the Carnage goes, that's a deal, bro. And then they do it.
Do you know what you just reminded me of? You know that bit where they're about to have that massive like fight off, or in the middle of it, and what's it? Eddie's ex's new fiance or whatever comes in and goes, I've got sound and fire, but without the sound. And I was like, why did you need to say that? Why was that a thing? It actually angered me because it was just so stupid. I was like, one, who are you talking to? And two, we know that you don't have sound. Why did you have to say it?
It's also, I feel, a very inconsistent weakness. Like
What, the sound thing?
Sound.
It is,
It's
isn't
like-
it?
Well, can Eddie go to gigs? Can he go to concerts?
Yeah, he literally goes to one in this movie.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Venom
Eddie
goes to
literally
Venom
one.
just
goes
went
to the
to-
club.
Yeah.
But then, like, they play it really fast and loose with the rules of, like, what kind of sound is it? Is it just, like, sounds at a certain frequency? Because that's
must
not true.
be.
Because, like, there's, like, a bell ringing, this huge bell. But, like, that's just loud. It's not, like,
Yeah.
at a really high frequency or anything. It's just a loud bell chime.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
It literally didn't make any sense.
You'll love this, Darcy.
Oh, will I?
The original title for the film before they changed it to Let There Be Carnage was going to be Venom, Love Will Tear Us Apart.
Shut up. I actually
would've been
think
cool.
I would have enjoyed
That
it
would've been
more
better.
if that was the title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll tell
that
you
would've been
why. Ian Curtis did not fucking die for this movie to parody him.
That's exactly why he died.
That's exactly it.
He looked into the future and saw that was a possibility and just offed himself instantly.
Poor guy. I mean, that's a bit of a tragic title, to be fair, but it just really, really brings out the gay in the film, which, like I said, would have made me enjoy it even more.
Maybe in the third movie, eh?
Oh, please don't make a third film.
Well, they're going to do it because this film is probably going to be a huge success.
Thanks to
I mean,
chumps
our-
like us.
yeah,
they
the
keep
s-
paying to go.
We went into a pretty busy screen.
It was. It was opening
Yeah.
day as well. You have to remember that a lot of people do tend to flock.
As far as I'm aware, it's like a huge hit in America.
Oh yeah, it came out quite a while ago
Yeah.
over there, didn't it?
Came out like a week or two ago.
Oh, I thought it came out like months ago. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess this is what people want to see. This is like shocky fun, I suppose. People
Yeah,
don't really
I
have to think
mean-
too hard about. I didn't really have fun with it though. So
No, it was-
I don't know.
No.
It was okay, but I would never ever see it again, and I would definitely think of better ways to spend my time if I had to
I
go
would
into
see
the
it
future
again.
and see this. I would not. Would you?
I would. Yeah.
No, of course
No,
not.
I was looking at Chris. I was just like, he's just like shaking his head. No.
No. I've only watched the first one once and I only watched this one once.
I honestly don't even remember the first film. I know I was going, nah, surely this one couldn't have been better than the first one. But then what do I really remember about the first one?
Venom's there.
Yeah, Venom is there. And that's it.
Mm.
I don't remember anything.
They bring back like the scene that everyone loved from the first Venom, where Venom goes into Michelle Williams. You get the female Venom, and yeah, sexy.
That bit was so cringy.
I don't remember what you guys are talking about.
Well, Venom go because like he's like, oh, yeah, Eddie and I broke up, and then Michelle Williams is like,
Oh, and she's like,
"That's
oh, I'll take
bad,
it.
so you
oh.
go- I'll take you with me. Come on, Venom. It's like Venom hitches a ride with Michelle Williams, and then he takes over her body and becomes a female Venom. And that's the part where
Oh
everyone,
yeah,
like,
and Venom's got like boobies.
everyone loved that
yeah,
in the first
yeah.
movie.
Why?
Yeah, bring it back.
That kind of thing makes me uncomfy. Gives me the ick.
It's quite a specific fetish.
Yeah.
I don't like this conversation anymore. Do we have anything else to say before I puke?
No, not
Movie
really.
lame.
All right, should we rate it?
Sure,
Out of what though?
Sunny
do
and
not know.
Chairs.
Sonny and Cher's, okay. Go on then, Chris.
Yeah.
Do your worst.
I hated this movie. I did not have a good time at all. There's bits and pieces that I thought were all right, but for the most part, I think this is just a really terrible movie. It's kind of just everything I hate about big studio blockbuster movies that don't try like this. The only thing I really appreciated about it was really short. It's only like 97 minutes, and it actually went by really quickly. So that's one good thing I'll say about it. But yeah, apart from that, I'm thinking like maybe 1 or 2 Sonny and Cher's. I'm not sure 100%. I got it rated as like a 0.5 star on Letterboxd, but part of me feels like that's a bit too harsh. So
I don't know. You feel how you feel.
that was just my initial reaction, like leaving the cinema, because I was just like in so much pain.
Yeah. Yeah. I got out. I was like, well, I had like a bit of fun, I suppose, but at the end of the day, I didn't like it. I knew for sure I didn't like it. I was like tossing it up. Is it a 3 or is it a 4? It could be a 4. Maybe it'll be a 4. But I thought about it a bit more and I was like, I honestly don't know. It's like, it's also like a little bit incompetent, just like how it presents itself. So I don't know. It's not good enough for a 4. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I'll give it a 3 Sonny and Cher's out of 10. But I will caveat that by saying it's quite funny. So I would, I don't know, maybe I would recommend it. Why not? To have a laugh. Fuck it.
I mean,
It's
going
not
off
a great
of that,
experience, but whatever.
I probably would go with other people. I mean, I don't know many people that would probably go and watch this by themselves. I mean, apart from people that don't actually want to pay to watch it and might watch it at home. Grab a couple of people if you're going to do that, because maybe at least then you can like take the piss out of it or enjoy it with someone else. Yeah, don't
be
watch
that
it alone.
Seeing Venom 2 alone.
Oh yeah,
it
it's
can
just be the
I
saddest
don't know.
thing.
Whatever.
But other than that, I don't know. I feel like I'm somewhere in between Chris and Max here, because I'm just like, it was just a film. So I'm gonna give it a 3 Sonny and Cher's.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah,
Just
sorry,
a
Tom
film.
Hardy, could do better.
Do Taboo season 2, please.
Maybe I will, because he's an extremely talented man when he's not doing these films.
Yes. So that's Venom 2.0. Then we watched The Green Knight. No, we watched The Green Knight before.
Yes, but
Yeah, we
famous
watched it the day
controversy
before.
on this
Yeah,
podcast. Yeah, so we was like, oh,
we had to do this in a ratings order.
I didn't want to like cap it off with something terrible. So on this podcast, we're always like, when's The Green Knight coming out? Because it got removed from UK cinemas. So we didn't have it anymore. And America was lapping it up. Oh, they were loving this movie. I was like, man.
Every other country in the world had it.
Every other
It's because
country
we
had
got
it.
fucked
UK
by
didn't.
Amazon Prime.
We got fucked by Amazon and like E1 Entertainment One, the distribution company.
Fuck 'em
Were
both.
like, you can't have it anymore. It's just a shame because I really wanted to see this movie. It was directed by David Lowery, who did A Ghost Story, one of my favorite movies. So I'm just really up for anything that he was making. Luckily, I didn't manage to spoil it at all for myself, so I went in pretty fresh on it. I didn't know really
Yeah,
what it was.
same
I
with
didn't
me.
know anything.
Yeah. So we went. It was kind of like a stroke of luck. Chris was like, "Oh, they're actually showing The Green Knight in a theatre near us." So we had to get the train over to Fareham, about 8 at night.
Literally that day as well. Chris
yeah,
was
that
like,
day.
"Oh, they're showing it today and
Yeah,
only today. We
I
must go now."
Accidentally, like just out of curiosity, I went on IMDb. I was like just looking at things that were showing, and I was like, oh, I wonder if that is showing at any point around here. And then I just saw it was showing nearby for that one night only.
Which was actually
Yeah.
quite a find, I must say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
and
when we
luckily,
actually got there, it was.
luckily we're all free as well. So
Yeah, I mean, well, I thought I was on the brink of death, but I thought I'm gonna go. We're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, we were like lamenting the fact that like Winchester was showing it, which is like semi near us, but not very close. But it was like £16 a ticket, which is obscene. And then like we look at Fareham. Oh, it's £3.50 a ticket. It's cheap
it's
as
just a
all hell.
no-brainer, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to see it.
And like
So-
it's like £3 for a train ticket as well. So
It was literally a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It was unreal.
So, yeah, I was like worried like when the trailers were going because like the picture was like shifting around a lot and like the aspect ratio was very off.
it was
like, oh.
garbage.
I was very worried, so I had to like go out and get someone. I was like, "Look at this! Look at what's happening." He just stood there and didn't, and then he left. Oh, okay.
There were so many trailers as well. Like I actually thought for a second they weren't even going to show it. They were just because there was only 6 people in the whole screen, including us. So I thought maybe they went, oh, maybe no one bought tickets to this, so we'll just keep rolling it round because it went on for ages.
It wasn't even trailers. It was just like TV adverts.
It
There
was
was
like
like
so long.
trailer for Dune. I think that was literally all we got in the way of trailers.
Which is annoying because I'm trying to avoid the Dune trailer, and when that's the only trailer you show.
It's right.
like
You've only got a
personal
couple of
slap in the
days
face
now.
from me. Yeah,
Max only
I
has a
do,
couple of
yeah.
days to go until it's out.
coming out soon.
But Chris has to wait forever to see it. So sorry, mate.
So, yes, Chris, do you want to describe what the movie's about?
Yes.
Yes.
So The Green Knight is basically it's a retelling of the famous medieval Arthurian legend, The Green Knight, or Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. Basically, Sir Gawain is King Arthur's nephew, and on I think it's Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, a mysterious figure called the Green Knight rides in on a horse holding an axe and a holly branch, and he says that he wants to play a game with someone. He wants someone to strike a blow on him, and whatever that person does to him, he wants them to come find him in a church exactly a year later, and he'll return that blow to them. So Gawain decides to be the brave man and chop his head off, and then a year later has to go on a quest to find out if it's all real and whether the Green Knight is actually waiting for him in this church and receive his fate.
Yes. And I guess to give opinions, I was pretty sure this was going to be very good because I really love a ghost story and like I know people are loving it. So I wanted to love it too. Maybe that's like a bit of a bias, but whatever, because it slapped. It was awesome. It was a really fantastic movie. I was like in awe of it. It's honestly like nothing I've ever seen before. It's very cerebral and it's not going to click with everyone because of that. It's very like abstract in its messaging, but that's like exactly my kind of movie. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, the story. I read through the Wikipedia article breaking down the original like Arthurian story, and it is very, very mystical and abstract and strange. And I think this film does a really great job of taking what makes that story so weird and mysterious and kind of making it something very unique and abstract and doing something very different with it. I like the fact that it's not just like just a 2-hour medieval film full of action. It's like very slow and atmospheric and abstract.
Yes. What do you think of it, Darcy?
Oh yeah, no, I knew it was coming, but I just saw Chris looking at me, and I was just like fiddling with my fringe, to be honest. I don't really know. I actually did like the film. The more I've kind of been sitting on it, and the more shitty films that I've seen this week, the more I've become to sort of appreciate it a bit more. Mostly because I've seen nothing but shit recently.
Yeah, Free Guy made you appreciate it more.
I'm not sure if it was even that. I think it was just, I don't know, when I was watching it, I did get it. And don't get me wrong, it's like, it's like a really nice film, but it's not my it's not my subject. Like, I'm not really into the whole like medieval fantasy kind of thing. It's not really for me. But yeah, the more I kind of sit on it, the more I'm like, oh, it was interesting. Like, I wasn't bored or anything. I don't have any like I find it quite hard to describe like the kind of things that I'm thinking about the film, because it's such a different film to things that I've seen recently. Well, I mean, quite fairly recently actually, but yeah, it was good. I mean, it was a bit of a shit review, innit? It was good.
In terms of like,
that's it. That's all I've got.
In terms of like medieval fantasy films, this is nothing like anything I've ever seen.
No,
I find those sort of films very hit or miss. It's not a genre I really go to that much. I know you're quite a big fan of that sort of thing, aren't you, Max?
Yeah, I do. I do like this kind of period. I think it's a very like rich history with it.
Yeah,
so I'm sort of very up for that. Like, I love like movies like that dabble with like the medieval. That's why Lord of the Rings I like a lot. Like Braveheart, to do something a bit more grounded. And this, I was kind of on board with it already because it is very steeped in that medieval culture. So it kind of hooked me on that. I also didn't expect it to be quite what it was. I was kind of expecting fights, but this is like, what is the? Are there any fights at all in this? I don't think so.
Not. Yeah,
no,
not
there's
really.
like no action in it at all.
I actually kind of appreciated that though, because I feel like I've seen about 1 million things that have medieval fighting in it, because obviously like my dad's really into that sort of like thing where like, we watch like, I mean, it's not quite in the same sort of ballpark, but like he watches things like, like Ben-Hur and, stuff like where people like fucking fighting with swords and shit.
No, that's kind of, and like, it's obviously different, but that's kind of
it's in the same sort of ballpark, but not quite the same. And like before, it's going to sound so really stupid because it's really like commercial and big, but like before Game of Thrones, I didn't watch anything. I didn't really like anything. Like, I've seen Lord of the Rings once. I've seen all 3 of them once. But then they're just it's one of those things where it's not really my thing, so I don't really vibe with it. But it's not to say that it's not a good film, because I would actually recommend people do see the film. I think it would be better if someone could watch it in the UK, but if they can't, then you can't. But it's not a film that you could just watch at home. Why would you watch this at home?
That's what we were kind of upset about afterwards. We were like, we're so glad that we watched this in the cinema, that we waited. Because if I just watched it on Amazon Prime and my TV at home, I mean, it's a fine TV and all, but it's not like a cinema. It's not that.
No, I think it needs to be seen in a cinema.
Kind of, viewing experience, which is a shame, because that's not how the distribution really panned out. This is very difficult to get a hold of in the cinema.
Did they just think that
we're very lucky that we actually got to see it, because I think this was like the only time they were showing it in Venom. Otherwise, we had to go elsewhere.
It's the only screening they were doing of it.
I just don't really understand. I mean, I can understand why if it is on Amazon Prime, which also I don't understand quite as much, because right, I get it. If it's on Amazon Prime, a lot of people aren't going to want to then pay extra money, because obviously you've got to pay for a subscription or whatever, to watch it in the cinema. Okay, I kind of get that. But then how come other companies can get away with doing that? Like Disney do it all the fucking time. I don't understand why you wouldn't want to. I mean, but then again, I don't know anyone who's actually seen this film. Apart from you two, I don't know a single person who has seen this film or even knew it existed. I don't. Yeah. I don't know a single person.
Well, I don't even blame them though, because like I know about it because I know about David Lowery, because I like run in these circles. I do stay up to date on like movie news. But if you don't, then like there's no promotion going on with this movie outside of
that's what I mean.
These kinds of circles. There's no posters for it out on like town roads, So like, if the only way you really would have been able to figure out that it was actually a thing was like you'd have to wait for it to go on Amazon Prime and like just be there in like the first week that it was uploaded, so it could be on like the front page.
I definitely would not have enjoyed this if I had just sat and watched it in bed. I just know for a fact that I wouldn't have followed it. I feel like I have to be, and obviously you guys know me quite well at this point, and you guys know that I do this quite a lot, but I have to be like when I'm in a cinema, I hardly ever move, because I'm like in the moment and there's people around and I'm sort of like I have to focus on this one thing. But if I'm sitting with you guys, I could just move around and do whatever I want. I don't have to focus on it because I'm not in a room forced to watch it, if that makes sense. Like if I was watching this at home, I'll probably turn it off.
Yeah, this
Legitimately.
isn't. I don't think this is the kind of film you can just casually watch at home.
No, you have to
'Cause
pay attention to it.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot of different like themes and a lot of different subtext that I think you really have to be properly focused on to really pick up.
And it's actually a shame because this film's actually really good. Like I know I've just been going, it is good. And it's difficult for me to explain why I think it's good. But I do think it's a film that you should go into the cinema and see. But that's easier said than done because we're
I just
here.
feel like bad. I feel bad thinking about people who put this on because like whatever they fancy a movie or something on in the background, they watch it like 3 p.m. Like the windows open and like the
just why not
curtains drawn, like whatever. It's sunlight streaming in. Maybe there's a bit of glare on the TV. I'm like, it makes me sad. I don't know. But you say you can't really articulate why you found it good, Darcy. I mean, I can.
Can one of you
if we were
delve
to
into
get
my brain?
more into
Thank you.
like the movie itself, there are a lot of subtle themes going on, a lot of abstract ideas. I think because it's not very straightforward at all. It's just like scene after scene of this guy going through like a hero's journey to kind of find himself in a way. I think one thing I didn't really understand, like at the beginning, I was like, "Who is this guy? Who is he?" And then like, why does he feel the need to be like? He's quite big-headed. He's quite arrogant. So why does he feel the need to do these things? And then, so with the description that Chris read off, we know that he chopped off the head of the Green Knight, who came to play a game. But why'd he cut the man's entire head off? He's like this tree guy. He comes in and he's like, if you can land a blow. I was like,
yeah, why did he just cut his arm or something? Yeah.
And you could part best friends. But he goes the extra mile and cuts the guy's head off. I was like, dude, it was a game. He could have just he could have just nicked his arm. And I kind of thought about it a bit more. I felt like it was going for more of an abstract a theme with that, where I think it's kind of about like humanity as a whole. I think it's very telling that the Green Knight himself is not a man, but like a tree made flesh, and it's like playing this game is like an offering. Here, take some of what I can give you, and I think where in this it comes in with like nature, and I think it's like the fatal flaw of man to take more from nature than what he needs and to assert power and dominance over nature. So with this kind of chopping off of the head, it's like saying, well, I own you. I could do it. I could do whatever I want, and I have like dominion over you. And I think that's what we've definitely seen just as the years go by and we see more about global warming becoming more of a threat. We see trees getting chopped down, and we see people suffering just more than ever in terms of like countries that need help, but they're not being given help, and just a lot to do with global warming, I think, in this movie. I don't know if that's the kind of thing that you guys got from it.
No, now that you're saying it out loud, I totally knew that the Green Knight was some sort of like, he literally looked like a tree. Like I can't explain to people who haven't seen it enough. He literally looks like a White Walker mixed with a tree. Like the man is a tree, isn't he? He's literally a tree. Okay,
yeah.
Saying that enough times, but I did kind of get that whole like when they're talking on when in that palace or whatever, and they're like, the green stands for this, and he's obviously like, you could be like rotting and all this, and I was like, it does sort of make sense actually, doesn't it? Like, I mean, once again, I'm not articulating this well because I have no brain cells to rub together, but that I can't, I mean, oh fuck it, I get it, I get what you're saying.
He brings forward like an axe. He's like a tree with an axe, and what do you use to cut down a tree? It's an axe.
But
so
also, he put it on the floor, and all the fucking shit came out. All the little, like, moss and stuff.
Moss starts going around it. And I felt that was, like, all we have from nature. You can't make metal or wood to forge an axe. You can't do these things without the things you get from nature, because that's all that we've been provided, and we've built empires and kingdoms and cities and skyscrapers all from the materials that we found from nature. And this is like a way of like, nature has given this to us, but we've destroyed it in our wake.
It's a very poetic way of looking at it, because I mean, it is quite sad actually when you do think about it.
And again, maybe that's not what's going on.
Maybe it's
I don't
not.
know. That's just what I get from it.
The thing is, I sort of like, when you think about it as well, like you can sort of contrast it with like the sort of aesthetics of the film. Like there is a lot of nice scenery and a lot of
green.
A lot of green, a lot of earthy material. Like, it's really pretty. It's one of the prettiest films I've seen in a while.
Yeah,
and it totally makes sense with what Max is talking about.
It's really,
but other than that, what am I to understand here? Like, maybe I just didn't think about it on a really subconscious level.
Sure.
Or maybe I just don't think.
But you liked it anyway. I think that's
I did, yeah.
Clearly trying to tell you something.
Yeah, something that it's untapped. There is literally untapped potential in this brain of mine that I cannot find because it's been rotted by Hollyoaks and Coronation Street.
Can imagine going from like Coronation Street to the Green Knight. It's quite a jump.
Honestly, all of my friends think that I'm a film snob because I was talking to them about how I went to go see Venom the other day, and they were like, "Oh, was it good?" And I was like, "No, it's shit." And they're like, "You say every film is shit," and I'm like, the problem is, I've seen shit films. Don't blame me, blame Hollywood.
I liked it. I felt like a lot of the film, like it almost feels like side quests onto the main journey. Like there's a great sequence where Garwin like finds this abandoned hut and he like stays in it after he's had like all his things stolen, and he wakes up and there's like just this woman stood there by this bed that he's sleeping in, like saying, "Why are you in my bed?" And then she basically reveals that she's like a ghost and that her decapitated head's in the bottom of this little pond next to the hut, and he has to go in and recover the head so it can be reunited with her body and she can find peace. And that entire sequence felt like a side quest in like The Witcher 3 or something. I thought it was really great.
Yeah. There was also like the part where like it tweaked to me where I do agree he's kind of going on this grand quest to find the Green Knight, but also he gets these mini side quests along the way, and every time he meets someone, maybe they ask him for something, they ask him to do something, and he always tries to look for what they can give him as well. Like, "Oh, I'll get your head from under there, but what are you going to give me in return?" Sometimes you should just do a good deed for good deed's sake, but that is also tying into themes of taking more than what you give to the world.
Yeah. Something I also kind of got from some of the film, I don't know if you guys even got any of it, I kind of felt that there was a bit of a theme of like almost like toxic masculinity in a way throughout. How like at the beginning, obviously you got Garwin. It's just like this guy's like going to like parties, drinking at the pub all the time, like showing off to all his friends, cutting off this guy's head, like showing off to them. And then as he gets out into the outside world, it's almost like this shell's being removed, and you see the real him that's hiding behind that. Because obviously he gets like attacked by this group of kids who like take all of his stuff and take his horse. Then he like rebuilds himself up, and then he like goes into this big like mansion where you got Joel Edgerton's character, the Lord, there.
Yeah.
And there's like almost like this, that's like almost like I got out of like this feeling of like temptation from there, and maybe like almost a confused element of his sexuality in there, where there's kind of hints at this like relationship between both the guy and the girl. They kind of both have some sort of sexual connection there. And I kind of feel like the masculinity element comes in there, where he's got a girlfriend at home and he's kind of hiding maybe that he isn't completely into girls, and he's kind of discovering that there.
It's quite an interesting take on it, actually. I kind of got more of the, rather than like the whole masculinity side of things, I kind of got the idea that he was acting the big un, but he just needed to grow up. Not obviously that's just the easiest way of saying that, but what I mean is that there's like a lot of immaturity that he just sort of like starts growing as the film gets on, like as if he was like he's a tree, literally a tree. I just mean like I don't know, he seems like quite immature, giving it the big un, and then like the longer the film goes on, the more he seems to be like actually like genuinely like brave and grown as a person. But I mean, yes. I can see what you're saying, because it kind of does feed into the whole like, I know a lot of, obviously like not maybe used to in particular, but there are like men out there that are sort of like too afraid to be themselves in fear of what other people are going to think of them.
Yeah, I got a little bit out of that.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
See, that I got,
Chris,
see?
I think. Yeah.
There are some words in my brain. Some.
So, yeah. Brilliant analysis, I think, there, Chris. I think I absolutely agree with that. They like have this scene where like Alicia Vikander, she's like basically wanking Dev Patel off in the Fed because like he wants this belt that gives him, like, when he wears the belt, he can't be, a blow cannot be struck against him. He's like, I want the belt.
Yes, his green belt.
She's just like wanking him off. And then he comes, and then he gets the belt.
I actually completely forgot about that until you literally just said it, and I was like, "Oh my god, yeah!" I didn't realize I was going to become in this film.
But it makes complete sense. It does make sense, and especially in this environment where he is kind of letting his guard down a bit more, and he's maybe with what Chris has said, like exploring his sexuality a bit more, or like trying to see like who he is as a person, as opposed to who he thought he was when he was surrounded by people who knew that he was the king's nephew, and they had a lot of expectations on him.
I could get that as well.
Yeah.
It must be quite hard to run up in that sort of family where a lot of it's expected of you, but you don't know how to live up to it or can't live up to it. Because I feel like, especially like, you know, the scene that, like the things that could have happened but didn't happen, that part. I don't know. I kind of felt like he went back and he was like, "I'm just a shell of a man now," as if he was like living with the idea of that he was like praised a hero, but he wasn't really a hero, kind of thing. I don't know if anyone else kind of understands what I'm trying to get at here, or can word it better than I can. I'm hoping you know what I mean.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
He kind of, so he like goes back home.
Yeah.
Because he's too scared to be killed.
Yes.
To have his head cut off. He's like, well, he's just paying you back in kind. This is what you did to him. Now he'll do the same to you. He chickens out. So he runs back home, and it's like he doesn't feel good about it at all. He feels like a coward. Like it's like emasculation or something. But then through this, he becomes king. He leads armies, and he becomes a big man, you know, and then it all kind of turns on him when like his castle is under siege, and he's just sat there and he's thinking, well, what was it all for in the end? Because I literally just achieved nothing really, and it's like, yes, I'm a king, but I didn't achieve fulfillment within myself, and that's like the worst thing when I think about legacy and like what do you leave. You can strive for these things that you think make you great. You can strive for money and you can strive for power, but at the end of the day, if you're upset with the way that you are and you don't understand yourself as a person, you've ultimately not gotten as much out of life as you could have. And then this all culminates in the realization that this was a dream sequence, that he didn't actually go back, and it was just all in his mind. He was thinking, what happens if I do run away from this axe above my head that the Green Knight has got? And then Darcy was like, it was like the end of Twilight. I was like, no, that's not true at all. It's not, because it serves a purpose and it changes him as a person. And
do you know what? Okay, now that we're bringing this up, right, now that I've actually had some time to think about it, I totally understand what you're saying. But in the moment, I was like, oh, why did they do that? But now I totally understand what it. So I can't stop laughing because it's just such a stupid thing for me to. I was in the toilet and I was like, yes, that's exactly what I'm going to say when I go outside.
And there's this great line. There's this great exchange of words between the Green Knight and Gawain when he's trying to chicken out, and every time the axe is raised to his head, he like goes, "Oh fuck, no, don't do that." He's like, he's inching away from this axe over his head, as well he is to be expected. And in the moment, he's being painted as kind of a coward because he did this to the Green Knight, and it's just like, this is what you get, you know. But there's this great exchange of words where he flinches away from the axe and he says, "Wait, is this all there is?" And the Green Knight replies with, "Well, what else ought there be?" I was like, that hit me so hard. I was like, fucking hell. That's probably my favourite line.
Yeah.
Because you get like, because he hasn't achieved this kingdom and he hasn't done like maybe everything that he wanted to do with his life, but on this quest he has grown as a person and he has found within himself who he is. And I think that's ultimately what the movie gets at as well. With I guess it also ties into themes of like, asserting power and dominance over nature is not really the way if we're gonna survive. It's more you have to take nature as a part of yourself, and I feel like he finds that within himself over the course of the movie.
Yeah, definitely. I love the bit after the dream sequence where he like finally takes this rag off of him, and like the Green Knight basically just like almost like chuckles, and he's like pulls his finger across Gawain's neck and then goes, "Now off with your head," and then the film ends. I thought that was an incredible ending.
Fantastic. He like commends him for taking it off. It's like, because he flinches away again, but it's not because he's scared of dying. It's because he knows that if he's wearing this belt, then he's not going to die. But like he kind of accepts that.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk a bit about the music. This is Daniel Hart writing the music again. He did the score for A Ghost Story. It's very different in this movie, I feel, to A Ghost Story, where it's more laid back in that movie. Well, it's quite more orchestral, it's more subtle, and it's more, I guess, it's more like ethereal. With this, it does dive into those elements a bit, but it is also going for music that you would expect from like a medieval movie, but it's turning it on its head a bit. It's just really unique use of score, I think. Yeah,
I thought it was a fantastic score.
It's wonderful. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you again. He's going up there as one of my favourite composers for film, definitely.
Yeah, he's a really, really talented guy. I loved the score to Ghost Story. I think this is really, really great as well.
Mm-hmm. If it comes out on vinyl, I'll get it for sure.
Yeah.
A bit more technical stuff, costume design, all fantastic. Really good choice of costume design. Really bold colours, especially Dev Patel's like yellow cloak that he has. That really makes him stand out a lot. You got like Joel Edgerton, who's like this huge dude, like covered in like pelt. Really like makes him kind of like look more rough, I suppose, more like a man's man.
Yeah, looks really great.
And I'm pretty sure, I don't know for sure, but it looks like the Green Knight was all practical effects. It's like
I think he is.
Yeah, this looks amazing, and it all complements the overall look at the movie because the sets are so great. The sets are fucking fantastic. Oh man, like you couldn't get this in like some of your other more typical medieval movies, I think, but they really go for gold with this.
Yeah, they do. I like the there is brief like usage of CGI throughout, but it all like works really, really well. Like there's like a fox character who like follows him around throughout a lot of the film, and although it doesn't look incredible, it does look a tiny bit janky at some points. I think it just really does fit in with the film well.
Yeah, this is going for like that more mystical element. So
yeah,
and the fox isn't like within the movie. The fox isn't actually real. It's like his mother who watched over him and tried to make sure he was safe. So it never took me out of it at all. No.
When the fox spoke, I just instantly thought of Antichrist.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
that's what it was.
fox.
I was thinking, what does this remind me of? Oh yeah, it's Antichrist. It is Antichrist.
I was just expecting him to say Chaos Reigns.
Chaos
I thought
Reigns, yeah.
And there's me thinking it sounds like salad fingers.
Yeah, you got out the theatre, you're like, a fox sounded like salad fingers.
She turned around to me when he was speaking and said it.
I think I said something like rusty spoons as well.
Every time the fox came on the screen, I heard Darcy do a little squeal.
It was probably one of my favourite parts of the film. I fucking love foxes. What can I say?
Yeah. It was a cute one. It was a cute fox.
It's not even a real fox, but it's cute.
No, whatever. Doesn't matter. Another part that stood out to me in terms of effects was this great scene where he's like on a cliff and then he sees a bunch of giants. I think fantastic effects. And like that was a really hard hitting scene. I was like, oh my God, that was when it absolutely clicked for me that I was watching something completely different to anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, I almost got choked up because I couldn't believe I was seeing something like so unique and abstract in the cinema. Because normally when I watch these sort of things, it's just at home on my TV because we don't really get the chance to see that sort of thing in theatres.
No. So good, honestly. I really...
Yeah.
I don't know if I have any criticisms at all to lend to it. I thought maybe at the beginning there was a lot of quick cutting and I didn't really understand why because it was quite jarring. I didn't really know what was happening. I was like, why? Like the camera's going crazy and I mean the camera movement in this movie is like absolutely fantastic. Really smooth use of camera work. But then the editing, it just cut like every 3 seconds. I didn't really understand why. But I guess more... I guess the more I think about it, it doesn't bother me that much because that's quite a tumultuous time. It's like more like a reflection of like his life, and he's going from like place to place without a care in the world. I suppose it doesn't really bother me all that much on reflection.
Yeah, no, I don't have any issues with the movie at all. I think it's just a really, really incredible movie. The last couple of days, I've actually like wanted to watch it again.
Yeah,
because I enjoyed it so much.
It's one of those movies you just keep thinking about it, I think.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll do a Blu-ray release here. Probably not.
Yeah. I think if me and Darcy didn't live together, I'd actually watch it again. The only reason I wouldn't watch it again like so soon is because I know she wouldn't want to.
Nothing's stopping you from watching it. Just
There is, because like the only time I'm home, you're also there.
LOL.
I'll just lock her out.
Yeah.
To be honest, you could just put it on. I'll just do something else at this point.
I'll just come home from work and say, can you go out for like 2 or 3 hours? I want to watch The Green Knight.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a bit because I do feel like it's just going to be... Maybe the experience will be better, but at the same time, it's like I'm just going to watch it on my TV at home. I don't know. It's not going to be as impactful. I mean, maybe it will be. Maybe it will be. But like the big screen is such a commanding experience for me, you know, and I'm glad that I got to see it for the first time on the big screen. So I suppose that's not really a deterrent for me.
Maybe it's about time we got a projector and like a massive like wall kind of size thing.
I just think if I were to watch it again, it would have to be like pitch black outside and I had no lights on and
no glary TVs.
Nobody to disturb me. Yeah.
Is there anything else anyone wants to bring up before we...
I'm pretty much done, yeah. I
think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm good.
Okay.
Sure. So we'll do it out of foxes.
Sure.
Do it out of foxes, yeah.
Yeah, this is a really, really incredible movie. I just really respect the craft behind making this movie, like just the quality of the filmmaking and just how unique, abstract, and original the movie is, despite the fact it's like adapted from like a tale from like medieval times, like this really, really iconic, centuries old story. I think he does such a great job doing something unique and doing something completely different to any other movie of its time or setting. So yeah, I'm going to give it 10 foxes out of 10, I think.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Oh man, this is good. And I think just let David Lowery make whatever he wants to make. He's one of the greats. He's really doing stuff that's really out there and abstract and weird, and it's so up my street. So I think it seems a shame to me to have given it a 9 on an initial viewing because it is so affecting, because I've just thought about it non-stop since. So I think this time around it seems quite pertinent to give it just a bit more. So I'll also give it a 10 foxes out of 10. It's really something special.
And then it falls down to me.
Ruining the perfect score.
I am about to ruin a perfect score, I can't lie. Well, there's not much point in me pretending that I got the same sort of thing out of it that you guys did, because let's be honest, it totally wasn't. I mean, not to say that it wasn't great, because I'm just going to have to keep saying it till I'm blue in the face. It was a good film. Good is not a great adjective, but it is as it is in my brain. But yeah, I'd be just lying if I said that it was like a 10 out of 10. I mean, it could be if I watch it again, but I'm not going to just go, oh yeah, I totally gave it a score that was like half the amount and I'm going to rank it all the way up to the top, because that's just not what I'm going to do. Upon thinking about it though, I think I'd give it like a 6, but I'd probably give it a 7.5, closer to an 8, but I'm not ranking it up to 10. Not today.
Yeah, that's fair. A lot of people seem very mixed on the film, to be fair.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
I liked it somewhat.
The only person you have to be honest with is yourself when it comes to criticism of art and film, you know. So, well, sure, that's fine. It's good. It's a good score. You liked it. No one's going to talk shit about you for that. It's a good score. Okay,
to be honest,
great.
no one I know is even going to seen it, so...
Yeah, sure. Right. So, that's that. Thank you for tuning in to this bonus episode. It's quite short, but a bit more relaxed, I think. That's that. So, for episode 52, it's coming out this week. We're watching the Twilight movies, all 5 of those. Twilight Saga, watch them. I don't know, we'll probably watch the Twilight movies. But we're going to do them all in a row, so that's going to be a great 10-hour marathon. But in the meantime, few episodes time, episode 55, we've got The Fall season 1 to watch. That's on the BBC. We also have social medias. We've got YouTube, which is the Sunday Movie Marathon. We got Twitter at Sunday Movie Pod, Facebook at Sunday Movie Marathon, and Letterboxd at Sunday MM, capital S, capital MM. Thank you for listening. Any last words, guys?
Yeehaw.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Hey man, do you want a juice?